So guys, today let's talk about grad school and imposter syndrome. Okay, so I know that so many of us as grad students, we experience this psychological situation that we call imposter syndrome. Okay, so let me tell my own story. Ah. Now I'm thinking about it and I'm like, do you really want to share this story? But I am gonna just be vulnerable, right? I remember when I graduated from the university when I did my degree. The grade that I came out with was really good, right? But then I remember one day a professor in another premier university asked me, what grade did you come out with? And I said, they said, I responded, they said I came out with so class, very good class, right? Till today, when I look back at that scenario, it's a classic example of imposter syndrome. To have gone to a university, to have worked hard, to have had a life of consistent routine, discipline, and to have put system in place to achieve what you have achieved, but to never believe anywhere in your heart that you are deserving of the grade that you have. That was my situation. Yeah, I do believe that kind of sound, but at that point in my life, I could not wholeheartedly accept that I achieved what I achieved. And this is not because, there are some people that the reason why they cannot own up to their success story is because maybe they didn't do it the right way. Maybe they did some things that are not really right, like maybe exam malpractice. Let's just face it now, right? But I didn't have that kind of situation yet. I could not own up to that success. And I always remember that time in my life where my confidence was so low and imposter syndrome was my problem. But there was no word for it in my dictionary. I did not know that it's a thing until I traveled to the United States to study for my master's. And one day at the library, that's somewhere in Illinois, I saw paper printed, and it was just there sitting on the table, and it could be taken if you want it, just free. And on it was written how to deal with imposter syndrome. I did not even know what that meant. So I picked the paper up and I started reading. Oh wow, it described me. That day I was able to name it. And then I realized that what I have been experiencing is actually not typical to me. It is something that happens to a lot of people, right? So now let's talk about how to deal with imposter syndrome. In my case, the first thing is know what it is. Yeah, from in my culture, there is a proverb that says, when you are able to diagnose a thing, an ailment, it's already 50% solved. It should be a global proverb, guys. Yeah, because that is so true. Right. Immediately I was able to name it. That started the journey of my healing or recovery. And I must say, caveat, that dealing with imposter syndrome is going to be a thing that you would have to probably continue to deal with, because it will show up sometimes in your life and you just have to face it, right? Yeah. And then too, I just began building courage. I just began telling myself a different narrative, a unique narrative of boldness, right? Where I'm like, I do not have to be perfect at what I do. In fact, I can show up on social media and make maybe I do a write up, and then maybe there is just a punctuational situation going on there. I'm not supposed to die because of that. I am a strong believer in excellence, but sometimes nitty picky, uh, um, wanting everything to be perfect or perfectionism is also not good. Excellence is a good thing. Perfectionism can kill. Like, it will not let you produce nothing, right? And average is also not acceptable. Or, you get what I mean, right? So I began to shift the narrative in my mind that I am deserving of the things that I have gotten. I worked for it, and it's okay for me to own up to that success, right? That's number two. Know what it is. Own up to the success, right? And just change the narrative for yourself. And number three, the more I kept seeing people, maybe I would call that association. If you see people doing well, doing excellently well, and they are not shy about sharing it, you learn from them. I've seen so many of my friends on social media honing their skill, owning their thing, right? And that really inspires me a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Okay, let's stop it there. I hope this helps you in dealing with that imposter syndrome. And hey, you are not the only one. Thank you for listening.